call it impreg. It doesn't sound like anything else. Don't worry.
No. Welcome to Inchworm,
The podcast in which we're inching through Worm. I'm Jenny.
and I'm Ted.
This time we read Interlude 13.5.
The Interlude.
Okay, point of order. Does Interlude 13 take place at the end of this arc?
I assume so.
So this is Interlude 13.5?
Look, the interlude numbering is not consistent throughout Worm.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, the interlude frequency and placement and labeling will change multiple more times throughout Worm.
All right, it's an exciting adventure.
It's an exciting adventure. To me, it's one of the more fun parts of reading a Wild Bow work live, because you kind of think you know what the format is going to be.
And it keeps changing.
But it keeps changing, yeah.
So I was so psyched about this chapter. I mean, classic me to forget that Imp hadn't had an interlude and that she was a possibility.
Gru's
Classic
the only
all of us.
Undersider who hasn't had an interlude yet.
I'm so bad at remembering that Imp is in the Undersiders, which is just deeply ironic, as we have discussed. But this chapter was great because it included several things that I predicted.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't know it was going to be Imp's interlude, I predicted that she had gone off to infiltrate the Slaughterhouse 9. And I predicted that Cherish would try to change sides.
Yes.
That ending beat of this interlude was so good.
Yes.
Will you tell us everything that happened in it?
Absolutely. So we start out with a few pages from Aisha's perspective where we don't know that she's even in the scene. Celia, who we find out is Aisha and Brian's mother, is talking to Sam and her friend Jennifer over a bunch of drugs they stole from the merchants before, the gang totally imploded, or just after the gang totally imploded. Sam is like her boyfriend of the week. The scene is pretty, grimy and gross. We learn a few things, like Celia is newly pregnant. So she's planning to avoid some of the harder stuff, but she's prepping lines of heroin for Sam and her friend Jennifer. Aisha has just been sitting on the couch. Her power is on, which means they just can't remember that she's there. And she kind of moves out of the way so that nobody, sits on her. And we learn that she's not really reacting to the drugs, the griminess. She's maybe a little disappointed, but that's pretty normal. She's really, really affected by learning that her mom is pregnant again, because she feels a little bit of hope and then has to sort of talk herself through how it's not reasonable to hope. What are the odds that could change things? It might be better if she miscarried given the unstable home environment, all of this kind of stuff. Aisha reflects that she has struggled her whole life growing up in this environment, maybe having a mother who was on drugs, an addict throughout her pregnancy, specifically struggling with attention a lot in school, and also, reflecting on how bad her home life was, especially after the divorce with this rotating series of boyfriends. She alludes to an incident where one of them broke her arm and basically had always felt unwanted and ignored in her home. Celia's trying to stick to weed because it's not going to be as bad for the baby, but then when she finds out the weed is spiked with something, she doesn't really stop. Aisha reflects on kind of the irony of her power. Once she was old enough for people to sort of notice her, she could be a little more independent. She got this power, and we realize that Imp's power is always on.
Yep.
Unless she concentrates to become present in that moment. She can sort of feel her power radiating off of her and modifying people's memories.
Yeah.
And she also describes her power as kind of having a volition of its own in that, like, when she's not paying attention to it, it starts to do something, and then she notices it, and it kind of goes quiet again. Mm-hmm. Similar to how people struggle to remember her the more they focus on her, she has a worse time using her power if she focuses on it. She sort of has to surrender control to it in order for the effect to go into play. She's thinking about, like, well, what if I just, like, steal all the drugs in the house? I could take it to Coyle for some brownie points. But, like, that's not going to help my mom. She's not stable enough to sort of get on the, you know, one of the Brockton Bay, like...
The Danny train.
Yeah, they get on the Danny train where it's like they'll give you food and some spare change if you spend all day helping put the city back together. But she's really cynical. She thinks if she takes the drugs, it's probably just going to lead to, like, a violent fight between Celia and Sam. So she kind of, you know, uses her power to get in her mom's way to stop her from rolling a new joint, but, like, doesn't actually go through with, like, materializing and confronting her, thinking that, like, she would be even less taken seriously if she appeared in person. She kind of goes on this speech. She says some stuff to her mom about how bad the future's going to be for her new little sibling. Mm-hmm. Of course, without using her power, her mom can't hear it, but she decides, like, okay, well, I'm not going to confront her now. Maybe if the city gets better, if we beat the 9, I can do something about it later. But for now, she goes to her room. She goes into her closet, and she's looking for a few personal possessions. We kind of see the layers of her past. Way back in the day, she was a Girl Guide. Her dad wanted her to have structure, but she got pulled out because she was a bad fit. But she gets, you know, like, binoculars, a tape recorder, puts that in her handbag with her taser and her knives, and she's kind of like, I just kind of want to have some of my stuff with me when I go do what I'm going to do. We cut to the scene of the last party of the merchants. The normal-ass police and the PRT have shown up, but there's not much to see. It's just a lot of dead bodies. Yep. And Aisha's like, yeah, you know, this is actually not that good of an idea, but, like, she kind of decides she's going to look around the edges, and she finds a blood trail. The blood trail takes her to an apartment building where she sees some detectives on the ground floor, but there was, like, a blood smear up on the window, so she hurries inside, goes up a few floors, and finds in this building some members of the Slaughterhouse 9.
Just hanging out.
Crawler's taking a nap in the corner, Shatterbird and Burnscar are reading on the couch, and Bonesaw's relaxing at the dining room table with a man splayed out and splayed open, currently undergoing Bonesaw tinker surgery of some kind. Aisha panics for a bit at Bonesaw's mechanical spiders, but, like, apparently nothing in the room reacts to her being there, which is what she was hoping for. She gets out her knife and she's like, can I kill one of them? Like, could I kill Shatterbird or Burnscar before they could use their power to destroy me? Because she's kind of like, if I use it, they'll be able to respond and, like, fire and glass, even if they don't know I'm there. Mm-hmm. They could do something. She's like, okay, well, maybe Bonesaw's the higher value thing, but she's a kid. Could I really kill a kid? And then she hears this awful squeaking noise coming from the body on the table. Bonesaw is operating on a living man.
Yep.
And the horror of that realization drives her to plunge her knife into Bonesaw's throat. Bonesaw screams and is not bleeding. So Aisha slashes her throat, then stabs her in the eyeball. And while Bonesaw is, you know, panicking and saying that it hurts, she is not nearly as incapacitated as you would expect. And Aisha has to retreat from flames and glass to kind of figure out what is happening. The 9 are like, is that Jack? No, it's not Jack. Like, but none of them can sense her. Even Crawler, with his smell, can't sense her, you know, once they're on alert for who just attacked Bonesaw.
We learn that Gru has no smell.
You know, they're like, well, should we run away? You know, what's going on? And Bonesaw's like, nah, don't worry about it. Like, I just got to check to make sure all of the sheaths I put in place to protect me, and the rest of us, haven't been damaged. And, I can always pop in a new eye. Maybe I'll do one green eye, one blue eye. And Aisha retreats. She's like, oh man, like, they're so much harder to kill than I thought.
Yep.
But on her way out, she sees those detectives who had been at the foot of the building have been killed. And she basically stumbles into Jack and Cherish. Jack is kind of annoyed, and he's like, Cherish, you finished cleaning up these bodies. I'm giving you a second chance. You can at least do some heavy lifting. Aisha's like, okay, well, this is my shot. I could go for Jack. I could go for Cherish. Cherish is newer, so maybe she hasn't had her protective sheaths installed. So she follows her into this office. The door closes behind her. And Cherish starts to talk to her, saying, put the weapon away, or, I'm going to do stuff to you. And Aisha starts talking to her, but Cherish can't hear her, can't respond, right? She can only sense her emotions. Imp is sort of like losing the initiative, kind of just talking to Cherish pointlessly. And Cherish says, put your weapon away. We only have a few seconds before Jack gets suspicious. Listen, I want to strike a deal.
Yeah, she does. This is so exciting. I mean, she was definitely the weak link of the 9 and the way in with her connection to Regent and her desire to get out of the 9 before she gets killed. She has no hope there, and this is so exciting. I don't think it's going to be like, and this is the smooth path out of this situation, but like, this is going to be a crucial ingredient. It's possible that the 9 will see this coming. Yeah. Wouldn't be surprised if they did figure that out somehow. But having one of them betray them, like, I do think that will give our villain heroes a real leg up.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
It's what they talked about. Like, let's get someone on the inside. They thought they'd have to use Regent's power to do it, which would be very difficult. But...
yeah. I mean... I would enjoy your speculation about, like, what's the plan from here, but I think the question I'm more interested in is, what are Cherish's demands, if any? Because we sort of know her other choice is, like, a fate worse than death of some kind, even if it's just in servitude to the 9, in some way. But so, like, I don't know how much she can ask for if everyone else can see that that's the situation, but like, what do you think her demands are for double-crossing the 9?
Well, she would certainly want protection for herself. I'm not sure what would be a good way out for her. There's not really a good, like, witness protection program when you have a unique superpower. I wonder if she wants to take the assault route.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Join the Protectorate. They would let her in because they're stupid. They seem to be willing to take any cape who wants to switch sides and just, like, welcome them in. I don't think she has the empathy to become a true, like, a genuine, like, to genuinely identify with the heroic side. But she might have, like, the savvy to fake it well enough if she thinks that would protect her. Now, that wouldn't protect her against the 9. It would only protect her if, like, Jack and Bonesaw are killed, because they're sort of the powers. Right. They're the king and queen here.
Yeah, there's the there's the question of, like...
it's ironic he's a Jack.
Who can protect you from the Slaughterhouse 9?
No one, unless, Scion, but, like, unless... the truly dangerous strategic members are killed.
Yeah.
And Jack, that's 100% Jack. And Bonesaw is just like, what a wild card. We're really talking cards here.
Yeah.
What a wild card in terms of, like, she's the one who made their brains immune to Cherish's power. She's the one who made their bodies immune to someone slitting their throat. Like, she just... is so far ahead of the game, technologically speaking, that you have to take her out or...
Armsmaster is like, 18 months away from putting, battle visors on every PRT soldier, and Bonesaw's already got, like...
yeah, if Bonesaw had that idea, she would have finished it 10 years ago, and she's probably only 8.
Well, what you're saying is making me realize that, right, so... because Cherish rationally knows that the only way out for her is, full victory for the heroes and full defeat for the Slaughterhouse Nine.
Yeah.
That her demands can sort of be arbitrarily high, right? Because, she's not going to settle for, legend will take you and fly you out of the city. Right? She's maybe she would, but, she's going to want something more definitive.
But that means she'll really be on their side, because if what she says is, I'll join your side or whatever, I'll switch sides, but you have to promise me you'll kill Jack and Bonesaw, maybe. Oh, well, the problem is, if you kill Bonesaw, you're going to get killed by the Siberian.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't think she would think it's realistic to ask them to kill the Siberian, so maybe she just asked them to kill Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if she says, I'm fully on your side, kill Jack, she will be fully on their side because she needs the Nine to actually be defeated.
It's also ironic because everyone on the hero side is already all in on killing Jack. It's just they don't know even how to approach it. Right. So her demands can be very much in line with their interests. Yeah.
I love this. I want this. Exciting. The synergy.
Yeah. And hey, Imp proves herself a valuable member of the team by doing something really reckless and brave and stupid.
The true Undersider spirit.
And,
and she knows
the story
stupid.
lets her
She's
survive the chapter.
That kind of thing is never going to stop me.
Yeah.
I think she has very little regard for her own life and a high regard for her own personal freedom.
Yeah, to be clear, I think she is acting foolishly in this chapter, but I don't think that she is actually stupid. I think she's
smart
gambling
about all of her. Yeah. She's willing to put a lot more on the table than most people would recommend or be comfortable with, and she's aware that she's doing that.
And her whole thing about, it just sucks, this dynamic with my brother, and, she thinks to herself at one point, I need to prove myself to the rest of the team. Yeah. And the thing is, that is true.
Yes.
That is absolutely 100% something that you need to do as, the new kid and the baby, right? Vista is so aware of this dynamic, right?
And it's so much worse when you're someone's little sister.
Exactly. So, the incentives are there. It is quite rational for her to keep pushing back against Brian. At the same time, it's sort of, going ahead with their family dynamic.
But no, she is so smart. She's I could kill Shatterbird, but here are the problems with that. She decides that she could kill Bonesaw and has some very reasonable should I kill a kid? Oh, she's this kind of monster. Okay. Yeah. And I
mean, right, she's impulsive, right?
But it's a good move, and honestly, knowing about those sheaths is incredibly valuable information.
Yeah.
Even aside from the connection with Cherish, which is also going to be crucial, they have to know how to fight people who can't be stabbed in conventional ways.
Well, the point I was going to make is that this is the reverse of the scene. Well, it's the reverse of Mannequin versus Taylor, but also Shadowstalker versus Taylor, right? You decide to strike the killing blow, not realizing that she has her spider silk costume.
Right.
And, you are guaranteed to lose the first time you do that, right? And so here we have the Undersiders learning that.
That's their first time.
They're not going to make that mistake later when they've captured, Burn Scar.
Right, and this was a very low stakes, in a way, scenario, because it turns out none of those people could detect her.
Yeah.
Which is so cool.
I do feel going after Cherish when they specifically said Cherish is the one who's going to know it's you, right? That is definitely a bad idea. And then when she's in the room with her,
Cherish knew she was there, she was doomed anyway.
No, of course. And I don't, it's frustrating because, again, this is another time when, one of the Undersiders is I could take my shot at Jack. Very high value target.
Yeah.
And then turns the other way. But, again, obvious, what is she going to do with her knife?
Yeah, she wouldn't have been able to kill Jack. I feel like Tattletale's going to have to really analyze this situation and figure out their weakness.
Yeah.
And Aisha couldn't really do that. I do think her deciding to go after Cherish was, in part, a comfort thing. Jack is so much scarier than Cherish in general and in that situation. Cherish is the one who's, being sort of chastised and is the underdog here. She's the one who's a teenage girl.
Yeah.
The actual reason she gives is a valid one. She might not have these sheaths installed. But, I think it is she just felt like a more possible target.
It could also be, I mean, again, like, she's young. She is very open about the fact that she struggles with paying attention. It could just be the kind of thing.
Forgotten.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In the moment, she's like, okay, I got my target. Let's do this.
And she also doesn't know that they're right. Like, she does find out, like, okay, so they were totally right. But she just got so lucky upstairs. She's probably feeling like, hey, I could probably do this too.
And it's also like when she's sort of like stammering to Cherish, even though she should know that Cherish can't hear her, right? Like, she's just sort of like trying to explain herself, right? She does not act in a very disciplined way. Yeah. Which seems in character.
Makes sense, yeah. And it kind of does make sense that, like, if you just tried to stab someone who you can't stab, and, like you said, what would you do against Jack? And Jack is so canny. Yeah. He probably would have figured out a way to kill her. Like, I think Cherish is just a less intimidating target, even though she's the one most likely to detect Imp.
Right.
Imp is such an interesting name. It could stand for so many things. Like, obviously it is a word in itself, but, like, you could say, like, oh, it's short for important, which is, like, like what she wants to be and what she isn't. You could also say it's short for impotent, which is what she is in so many situations, like with her mom and her family life.
Impulsive.
I was just going to say it could stand for impulsive. Like, there's just so many words with that. It's such an evocative name.
But it's short for imperceptible, of course.
Is it?
No, I'm just saying.
You're impossible.
I do
impertinent.
Want to call out something about her name, which I find very sweet. She calls Brian a dick in this chapter and just, like, has nothing but, like, annoying older brother vibes towards him. But I love that she picked a name that has the same format as Brian's name. There's a really cute family resemblance in that he's gruesome and she's imperceptible or whatever, whatever she is.
That's so cute. The Brian thing, I mean, skipping a little bit, but she talks about how, like, no one ever, like, has a conversation where they listen to her. Yeah. Like, her mom is too self-involved. I forget what she said about her dad. But she says that Brian is too focused on what needs to be done. And that does remind me of the meeting with the social worker. Yeah. Who is like, yeah, but she's not here. Like, you haven't done anything in the way that she would want it to be done. We were a little bit, like, getting on the social worker's case. Like, come on, it's such a good situation, especially now that we've seen what the mom is up to. Yeah. But she was totally right that Brian doesn't listen to her. And it's a little bit, like, it reminds me, he does listen to Taylor, but it reminds me of him in that conversation where Taylor was confessing her feelings. And he's like, no, I mean, I see you as my little sister. And that kind of means he doesn't see her.
Yeah.
He's so anxious. He's so worried about what's going to happen to her that he can't slow down and make sort of a more genuine connection to her. And I really hope we see growth in that relationship.
Yeah, and he puts things in boxes because it makes it easier for him to deal with them, but then he struggles to actually keep eyes on what's in the box and, like, the ways that it's changing.
Right, he just shuts the box and puts it aside.
It's the same thing with him, like, immediately being like, what happened to Dinah wasn't our fault, right? Therefore... like, or like, we couldn't have known, right? Like,
compartmentalization, yeah.
Yeah, I mean... I really love the way Imp has worked in the story so far because I've been, like, a little bit aware that we kind of have treated her like the kid sister
Undersider. She just feels like the junior member. She doesn't feel like a real member of the group.
But I think we've had some fun uses of her power.
Yes.
But I think that this is only the, like, second characterful scene we've had with him. I think the first one is when Taylor meets her in the apartment with Brian. But I think a lot of their team dynamic stuff is just like, it's like a little bit like clues to the reader to try to get you to realize who Imp is, right? That scene in Arc 10 where they're in the apartment with Sophia, right? Like, it's very much like, who's Imp? Oh, she's acting like the little sister, right? Like, so this is where she suddenly appears to us, right?
Yes.
And it is so thematic with who her character is. That, like, right, her role in the story, the way that she feels, right? All of that adds up to being this person who is ignored and put to the side.
And part of the reason that I don't want to take her seriously as an Undersider is just that, like, no, I'm attached to the Undersiders we had, and I don't want this like new person in the group who's like Brian's annoying little sister.
Yeah.
And that's the same reason she feels invisible in the rest of her life. Like her mom doesn't want her there because she's like a third wheel with like her and her boyfriend, or like she's getting in the way of her and her friends. And it's this like, Aisha will like mess up the dynamic.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like the Buffy season 5 with Dawn thing.
She does mess up the dynamic.
Right, but like her character and her power and her place in the narrative are so alike.
They're so aligned.
Yeah. It's a really it's like a tour de force power as metaphor reveal from Wildbow here.
Yeah.
And the real twist of the knife, I like stopped cold when I realized, is that her power is the exact inverse of what you think it is.
It's involuntary. Yup. I was shocked.
Yeah. It's brilliantly done. Uh-huh. And it is so sad. Like, what a curse for somebody who struggles to concentrate. To have your entire existence, your entire ability to be seen by anyone.
Right, your presence, your connection to people.
Constantly maintaining.
Your place in community. Yeah.
That sense of like focus
on yourself. You have to work for it all the time.
Yeah.
And in a sense, her power is like Taylor's, right? Where like she's not going to get tired using it. She's not going to have a limit. If she's like knocked partially unconscious, she probably will be using it automatically the way Taylor does. Yeah. And there's real strength there, right? Like we've seen that from Taylor. Like she doesn't have an upper limit of how many bugs she can control that we've seen.
Right.
She doesn't get tired when she's done it for a long time. It's really just a limit of how many bugs she can summon. Aisha's isn't expandable in the same way, but it is like, you don't want her to get tired while she's standing in an apartment with the Slaughterhouse 9 and have her power start to fade.
Yeah.
But that real tragedy for her character where she has to work for every moment of other people noticing her is really sad. I really liked her in this chapter. Like, we've read some interludes from people where I was like, ooh, Purity, of course, and Battery was like that. But Aisha is very likable.
Yeah.
And she doesn't come off well when she's arguing with Brian. And, we do still see some signs of immaturity from her, but we also see some, like, really likable and relatable aspects. Like, this thing where she just wants her mom to, like, get it together and do things better. She doesn't want another baby to be born who's going to suffer. She doesn't want that burden to fall to Brian, who doesn't deserve another burden.
Yeah.
She wants to fit in. She's sad about people overlooking her. Like, these are all just very sympathetic aspects.
Yeah, and it's so revealing to see her when she's alone. Yeah. Right, because when we've seen her before, I mean, it's when she's being bratty to the girl that her brother brought around, right? Like, and the
and it's very much a role that she plays, and it is part of who she is.
Yeah, right, so she's playing a role. She's acting up, but she's acting the part as well. Mm-hmm. Like, she needs to be seen and noticed and have her voice heard. And
that's a good point.
When she is here, she's so, like, thoughtful and mature.
Yeah, she's like, should I kill this kid, though?
Right.
And then she realizes that the body on the table in front of Bonesaw is still alive, and she's like, I should kill this kid. And that's just such a morally sympathetic stance of, like, of course you would hesitate, even knowing this person is evil. And, like, the fact that she has that thought speaks well of her.
Yeah.
But then her realizing, like, oh no, this person is doing such hideous harm to this other person. Like,
yeah. I was thinking also just of her on the couch watching her mom, and then like a lot of it is like, it's like, is like Aisha going to be shocked and disgusted because now that she has her power, she can see what's happening when she's not around. It's like, no, she's always seen this. This is just the normal kind of.
Though it does seem like it's gotten worse and worse over the years.
Yeah, but the work that she does processing her feelings, right? It's so sad to me that she's like, I just found out that my mom is pregnant, and what I felt was a little bit of hope. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe I can still salvage a family here. Maybe there's hope for my mom. Mm-hmm. Like, maybe this kid will keep her clean, get her to turn it around. And then
it just is so immediately clear that that's not the case.
Right. It nails her in the gut with sadness and hope. And then she bites her lip. And then she sort of thinks to herself, but I don't really feel anything about this. it would be better if she miscarried and the kid was spared all this stuff. She has this, like, learned cynicism and world weariness that sort of, she has that childlike emotion in her. Right. And she has the maturity to be like, the world ain't this good. I should know that by now. And it's, like, so sad that she sort of, is already carrying so much of that emotional burden.
And it just must be so frustrating to her because it's so, like, she has this plan. She's like, I can see what my mom should be doing.
Yeah.
She should join one of these cleanup crews. She would get these meals. She would get a little bit of money. Yeah. Kind of puts into perspective how much Taylor is paying her people and why they were all amazed by it.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Like $20 an hour. Yeah. But, she has thought of this. She's like, here's how my mom could get out of this. But she can't make her walk that path. And that must just be such a deep-seated frustration.
Yeah. And the same thing again where she's like, okay, well, now that I have this power, I'll run around with a bag and steal all the drugs and I'll take them to Coil.
She's like, I have power. I should be able to do something.
Exactly. And then she just thinks, but actually, that's just going to lead to a worse. Right. Yeah. I see the worst outcome there. Right. Yeah. She's so smart.
She has so much experience with this stuff. Yeah.
Right. Her hope is crushed by despair, but it's a very rational despair.
Yeah. She is very good at anticipating the results of her actions. Like, here's how Shatterbird and Burnscar would respond.
Yeah.
Right. And obviously she doesn't call everything perfectly, but, like, she is good at thinking a few steps ahead.
Yeah. And I loved, like, she's smart enough to follow the blood trail. I really loved that, like, also the normal detective was smart enough to get there. I was like, it's not like good. She's like a, she
Unpowered humans aren't stupid. Yeah.
Exactly. Of course, she gets to survive because she's
that's the difference. Yeah.
Yeah. I felt a little bit like when she was going through her closet, she was like getting ready to do some Harriet the Spy shit. Like she pulls her notebooks apart and she's getting all of her stuff. But I'm glad that it wasn't like fully embracing this like girl detective.
Yeah.
Her power is she's invisible and she gets to find all the clues that no one else can find.
What an amazing book. Has anyone written that?
Look. Yeah, okay. When we finish Worm, Jenny's going to write Imp Girl Detective.
Yes, it won't be a copyright infringement, definitely. Okay, but Girl Guides.
As fic.
As fic, okay. Girl Guides is a Canadianism, right?
I have no idea. I assumed it was.
I think they're only Girl Scouts in the US. I don't think they're Girl Guides. I was like, this sounds British. Oh, it's probably Canadian.
Yeah, I genuinely don't know. I was never a scout or guide of any kind.
I wasn't either, but yeah.
I also, the way that she understands herself, like her inability to concentrate or intellectual disability or whatever, is also very nuanced. She thinks about how, like, my mom was probably doing drugs when she was pregnant with me. Also, like, I've lived in this incredibly unstable and chaotic household, right? Like, how much of it is genetic, epigenetic, based on, sort of like the way that I grew up. And connecting that back to the Girl Guides thing, right? Sort of like her dad wanted her to have structure, but she was a bad fit. She didn't have the right personality for it. Oof. And I really feel like that's such a sad, like, maybe like internalizing a fixed mindset, right? It's sort of like, she's like, oh, like there's something wrong with me, or like I'm not good enough to be in the Girl Guide. Like that's sort of the vibe that I got from her dad. The sort of like what she gets from him is a feeling of like, well, Aisha's a mess, she's messed up, she's not going to be able to, almost to like, well, you're not going to be able to make it, kid, kind of feeling from the dad, which is so sad because, like, I'm just like, give Imp a chance.
I know. It was amazing how little of that kind of vibe we got from inside her head. And I feel like that's what makes me really like her as a character. And what you said about, like, well, she's sort of playing a role because that's the way to get attention, like, really made it hit home that, like, we talk about, oh, she's acting up, she wants attention. Like, it is so clearly the main thing that's happening here.
Yeah. But it's like, she deserves attention. She deserves a better, right? It's like, this is the hand life dealt you. It reminded me a lot of, like, Little Bitch.
Oh,
the scene where like her mom abandons her, right?
Brian keeping her from being that.
Yeah, we've seen how bad sort of like the foster system can be, right? Like there aren't a lot, and like right to the point about Brian, this sort of like we've heard kind of the like mom doesn't want to give up Aisha, so like maybe there's a he said, she said there or whatever. In this chapter, it's just so clear that like Celia
she would want to give up Aisha.
Is a villain in this story.
Yes, absolutely.
Obviously, like, sort of can be kind to her as someone who is suffering from addiction.
Certainly.
We don't know her story.
But it's not like she is like a good, loving mom who's going through a tough time.
Exactly. Once you see Aisha's perspective, it's like, you gotta get her out of that house.
I mean, I guess she is living with her dad now. Her dad just isn't good at handling her acting out. But yeah, I think she certainly should not go back to the... But the dad's not going to fight for custody. The mom will, and she should not go back to that house.
That's right. Thank you for reminding me about that situation. Because, we don't actually see what's going on with her and her dad. And we actually don't know the status of her dad. I think she would have mentioned
where he is.
if he had died. But it sounds like that she and her dad got attacked by the merchants. So it wasn't actually that, like, Leviathan caused her trigger event. It was, like, immediately after. Right, in the chaos of the city, those first few days that she triggered.
Yeah. I wanted to say more about attention.
Yeah.
There's this thread through the chapter that starts with her being like, it doesn't hurt as long as I don't think about the men in my mom's life. Of course, trying not to think about them means thinking about them. And it's sort of the like, don't imagine a pink elephant, that kind of thing. Yeah. And the chapter very explicitly analogizes that to her power, where like people remember her better if they're not deliberately trying to. And then the really fascinating thing is that her power works better if she's not focusing on it. Her power meaning the thing where people forget her, not her active power to let people notice her. And the thing that really fascinated me was that sometimes when she is not paying attention and just sort of casually observing, she notices that it might erase other memories. I want her to harness that.
Yeah.
Can she get a hypnotist on board? Because it sounds like her power includes the ability to erase memories beyond just the memory of her.
Interesting.
But she cannot consciously operate like that. But we need some, like, intense training to get her to, like, not think about it deliberately in a way that will result in this thing happening.
Yeah. Well, but I do wonder, maybe a hypnotist would help. But I also wonder if it's like, if she went into a truly selfless meditative state, what would her uncontrolled power
maybe that's
do?
Just bad.
Right, it's a total ego death, maybe, right? And like her whole thing is like, I need to be
she
noticed.
Would want
I need
to go in that
present.
direction.
It's like the contradiction.
Yeah.
It's like it reminds me a little bit of Labyrinth, right? If the thing that she needs and craves is keeping her from being able to unleash her full power
maybe
potential
the thing that Aisha needs and craves is what's protecting everyone else from the full potential of Aisha's power, where maybe she'd just erase lots of other things about them if they more successfully were able to forget her entirely, but her desire to be real, to exist, protects them from that.
Yeah. And I'm so interested, right, the ways different people sort of conceptualize of their powers, right? Like, I got the impression from Aisha that she's like, my power kind of has a mind of its own. It's like, I gotta keep kind of looking over my shoulder at it. Yeah.
Right, yes. It does things without her intending them to.
Yeah, which is so interesting.
Yeah, and she has to work hard to keep it leashed.
Right.
It's a little like Bitch's power. Right. It's a little like Bitch's dogs, not Bitch's power. We don't know how she conceives of that. But yeah, it does really remind me of Taylor's, where she has to work to keep it under control when she's feeling emotionally riled up.
The other irony to her power is with that broken arm analogy. One, beautiful piece of writing to introduce it for the metaphor, and then to hammer home at the end that she's like, oh yeah, and also one of these men broke my arm. Yeah. Right? Like, truly, awful to kind of like set it up that way and read through it, but very powerful. Part of what the broken arm thing made me think of, though, is that like part of what she wants is to be able to forget, to move past some of these like horrible things in her life, and she can never
so
truly leave it alone or leave it behind.
Well, it's a little bit like, you know, Amy can heal anyone except herself. Aisha can make anyone forget except herself.
Right.
Yeah. That's so sad. I mean, everything about her life is, you know, is sad. And I hope she and Brian can reach a better place because he really cares about her. He's just not very good at it yet.
Yeah. I was also thinking a little bit about Imp explicitly reflects on generational trauma in this chapter. And we have this idea of like inherited powers, but also since powers are trauma in this story, right?
Yeah.
There's like some obvious parallels there that I'm not sure that we've dug into a lot. I was also thinking about how, like, she gets frustrated because her power won't do what she wants it to, which is so funny because it's giving her a taste of her own medicine.
Yeah.
Like, this is how Brian feels about her.
Yes!
Right?
I loved that she wanted the familiar items from her home with her when she went off to do this mission. Like, she is really someone who's seeking a home, who wants, like, that anchor of familiarity.
Yeah. It is also, like, it made me really worry about how little she cares about surviving. Because this felt a lot like, this could be the last chance I have. You know, like, I'm going to go get my special important items to carry with me as I go into the situation where probably Cherish will say, she's there, and then Jack will cut off her head. You know, like, to some degree, it's like, she is acting this way because she knows how dangerous the thing she's about to do is. Yeah.
I think you're right. I mean, I said this earlier in the episode that she isn't placing a high value on her life, but it feels a little like Taylor's $1 million gamble or whatever, where it's like, it's not that she doesn't care if she dies, it's just that she needs to do something big to earn her place, and it feels like this gamble is worth it to her. And she's not as attached to her life as she should be, but I don't think she's looking for death.
I think you're right. Yeah. And it also, these are all teenagers.
That's true.
They're going to live forever.
Yes.
Though I was so saddened by, again, Imp being like, well, Celia's never really progressed beyond the age of 14 or 15. And like, Imp is what, 12 or 13?
Yeah.
It's like such an awful thing to have sort of like seen that example. Yeah. And it's like an open question. It's like, is she going to make it even that far? Right?
Yeah.
Like, here she is going up against the most deadly people in the world, right?
Yes.
Speaking of.
Yeah, should we talk about the 9?
Yeah.
I loved the image of Burn Scar with her feet in Shatterbird's lap. It's such a sweet, terrible, sick, twisted relationship.
Yeah, the domesticity makes them even worse. I will say...
Well, like, we know that Shatterbird recruited her and that she isn't really happy to have been recruited, but she's sort of making the best of it.
Yeah.
And part of the way she does that is by using her power, which, like, unlocks a certain type of antisocial tendencies in her brain, and she's sitting there like reading and using her power to make images. She's sort of like maintaining this state of like the kind of mindset she needs to survive in the group, I think.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, speaking of the addiction theme in this chapter, right? She's always got a little bit of fire on hand.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Jack encourages that.
Yeah, I mean, he said specifically in his interlude.
I will say that I now love Crawler. Bonesaw, you've been temporarily demoted to second favorite, or Mannequin, maybe, I don't know. But Crawler sleeping with his paws crossed. It's like, now he's just like...
He's like a big dog.
Yeah, or the big cat from K-pop Demon Hunters. Now I'm just imagining...
Oh, that's way too cute.
Right? Now I kind of love him. You know,
he
like,
breathes in as he sleeps, and he's so big his chest like brushes the ceiling. Was that
what a sweetie. I'm sure we'll see him like bite off Aisha's head in the next chapter.
How dare you?
But
Aisha will live forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have them. We already talked about Bonesaw, this incredibly weird, callous attitude towards her own body, which makes sense with her powers and how she treats everyone else's bodies.
Yeah.
It really, the more I see of her, I'm like, yeah, this is a side effect of her power, and probably something she, either another side effect of her power or something she deliberately does to her body to keep herself this age, because that's the age she mentally feels.
Oh.
it's like, it's funny. Like, I feel like a lot of us as we get older, we're like, but I still feel like that younger version of myself. And she has the ability to actually make herself that younger version of herself. Usually, when most of us think that, we aren't thinking of ourselves at like 11 or whatever. But
that's really interesting. That's a really good insight.
But she is.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's like, I'll just put in a new eye. And you're like, okay, this is so weird. You have way too much power.
Yeah.
You're so alienated from your actual body, from anyone's actual bodies. And also horrifically cruel.
Mm-hmm.
And again, she couldn't exercise her power on other people without being cruel in that way. And so it makes sense that her power has removed, the parts of her that would get in the way of her doing that.
Yeah, this like living vivisection is truly awful.
Oh,
and we like barely get it described, and I was cringing. Like the few sentences in here are
that is
quite
what
bad.
vivisection means, isn't it? It's like the live dissection. Yeah. Whew. It's a bad idea. I'm against it.
I also on the sheaths.
Yeah.
This is kind of what I was thinking of when I was getting at in the Hookwolf chapter.
Oh?
Shatterbird was fine.
Oh.
Shatterbird's got sheaths. Do we think Hookwolf is strong enough to get through whatever Bonesaw's tech is? I mean, we don't know how good Amp's knife is, right?
Right. I mean, Hookwolf is quite bladed, but possibly the surprise of, hey, why didn't that work? Like you said, it's always going to fail the first time you try. Would have been enough to let Shatterbird, get her own back, get away, something.
Yeah, maybe you could like break her spine, and that doesn't matter if it's a sheath spine.
I mean, I want Lisa to take a look at this and figure out, like, are they literally protected everywhere under their skin? That feels like such an impractical level of surgery, or is it just their throat?
Well, the way that I understood this scene is that the knife goes into her throat, but the stuff in your throat that lets you speak and carries blood is protected.
Yeah.
So she was like getting into the fleshy but not, life-threatening parts.
Is pretty near the surface. So like I feel like the sheath,
like the major artery,
right? Yeah.
Like so I think
it probably bled, but not that much. Is that? Yeah.
Right. Or maybe it is lining all of your veins and arteries. Like I don't know. But the impression I got was not that the knife didn't go through skin.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely did.
Bonesaw's eye got destroyed. It's just she has backups.
Right. Her eye got destroyed, but
because the knife went to the bone.
I feel like normally if you stab someone in the eye, it injures them more than that. Like you would be like gushing blood.
Right.
So does Bonesaw have something else that she's done to her body to keep that level of injury from happening? Yeah. I mean,
the impression I got was that like Bonesaw was getting damaged, but she was like protecting the good parts.
Yes. And she's got extra eyes, so she didn't need to protect those. Yeah, wow. I mean, Bonesaw was right. She and Panacea together would be unstoppable.
Yeah.
But I want to know how she can be killed. Bonesaw, that is.
Well, what do you think?
That's a good question. I mean, like you said, break the spine. Like, presumably, if you, like, ran over her body with a tank, she wouldn't survive that?
Probably not.
But there's got to be something short of that.
Throw her into the sun? I mean, I feel like
we've got one.
Sundancer
has one. Yeah.
This is what I was saying about Jack. It's like, just how many people are you willing to kill with your son in order to also kill Jack and Bonesaw? Right. Like, it's kind of the question.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully Cherish can tell them what's going on with these sheaths.
Yeah. Oh, my pitch since we mentioned Amy, my pitch for fixing Cherish is have Amy, now that she does brains, develop her brains the part that feels a strong moral sense.
Can she do that to Regent? I want Regent to have feelings.
Yes.
Can you imagine suggesting this to Amy? Amy would be such a brat about it. She'd be like, how dare you? And then she'd just like scream at everyone and leave. God, she better not become just intolerable repeatedly.
How could you say that about Amy? Are you saying that because she just did that in the last chapter?
I am saying it because she just did it in the last chapter.
Well, yeah, so are there any other like big topics or things that are on your mind?
I feel like, it was a shortish interlude, but I mean, really set us up. Hit a lot of important stuff, set us up well for the next one.
I feel like
exciting.
This is probably not in my top 3 or even top 5 interludes in the story so far, but I really love Imp and her power.
Love Imp. And I love where this chapter went. I'm so excited.
Yeah, and just like the debut, the idea of like, this character is going to be a trope, and then we get her point of view, and suddenly you're completely invested in her. Everything you thought you knew about her has shifted.
Yeah.
It's like the trick that Wildbow pulls best. And so
Ooh,
like the payoff
is
so good, even though it's like it's not quite as, it's not up there with Regent, Dragon, some of the highlights, Amy's interlude. It's tough to pick a favorite.
It's just that there are too many good ones. That's what it is.
How does Cherish sense Aisha? Because I almost had to like rethink Aisha's power a couple of times, because she's like, oh yeah, they can't detect me with their senses, and that's kind of the analogy to Gru's power. But then she's like, her power modifies memories. So I was like, oh, so like, does it not work on cameras because cameras don't have memories? But then like Cherish's power is just a non-traditional sense, right? But she can still hear Aisha's music. So like, why can't Aisha's power get to Cherish's memories? I don't think it needs to be answered, right? It probably is just like, it works on normal senses, because when her power was trying to figure out how it should work the way that Bonesaw explained powers do, it's like, great, we'll check off all the human senses. And obviously it's not cross-checking against whatever Cherish's power does, right? Like, how could it know?
And we've talked about how it's analogous to Gru's power, which messes with sight, sound, touch to some extent, though not fully. I think it makes things feel a little weird. And scent. And so those are the senses that, like, she erases people's memories of having sensed her in those ways. So they'll remember a thing that she did. They'll sort of know it happened if they see the effect, but they won't remember her doing it.
Yeah.
I guess just Cherish can remember that she sensed the feelings because the power doesn't erase those.
Yeah, yeah.
So Cherish actively fails over and over again to hold any memory of seeing or hearing her, but she can feel her. Which, that might, if Amy can grow the moral part of Cherish's brain, then what a great person for Imp to have around. Someone who always knows what she's feeling.
Yeah.
Oh, what a gift that would be.
Yeah. And right, so it's sort of the way Cherish's power works. It's sort of analogous to how, like, Lisa is most on the ball around Imp, right? It's because her power is, like, giving her that little extra edge to, like, be able to hold some of that stuff around for just, like, a little bit longer.
Crack theory. What if Imp and Regent fall in love and...
Say more.
I have no reason to think they will fall in love or that Regent is capable of that. But if they did, think of what a nice element of their relationship it could be for him to learn her nervous system and, not take control of her body, but, like, live in her head. And then she could stop making herself be noticed, but he would still be aware of her because he would be inside her head and they could, like, chat and stuff.
Interesting. Well, but he's not a Yeerk, right? They don't gain telepathy.
No, but I think if he were inside her nervous system and he were letting her have control, he'd be able to detect what she was doing. Like, if she were speaking, he could feel it.
No, that's interesting. But which power wins? It's not clear to me, right? It's not clear to me if she uses her power...
Does he forget he's in her head?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's a fair question.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I think we'll have to let them fall in love and then see what happens.
It's a very creative power combo. I like the potential you're seeing there.
Yeah.
In a world where people have so many weird perception abilities, Imp's got a future. She's going to make some good connections, right?
We'll call it Impreg. It doesn't sound like anything else. Don't worry.
No. Oh no. Well, we've coined the worst ship name.
Excuse you.
We'll see. The tags won't be confusing at all.
No, definitely not. There's a whole I at the beginning of it. Anyway, did we have anything else we wanted to say about this interlude?
Another tiny little thing. Yeah. Cherish has a hard time tracking Mannequin. Why? What did Mannequin do?
I kind of missed that. I skipped over that. You're right. That it did say that.
Is it just because he's, like, maybe similar to Bonesaw, just, like, rewired himself so much? It's not...
Possibly, or he has, like, some shielding around his brain that, like...
Yeah. The music he makes is just, like, the occasional beat of a woodblock. It's just, like, so boring and robotic that Cherish has a hard time.
No, because he definitely has a lot of feelings. He's easily provoked.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's that. But I do bet, like, you know the, like, psychic shielding that Armsmaster had? Mannequin probably has, like, layers of that.
Yes, Mannequin has psychic shielding.
Exactly.
Oh my god. That's what's in his arm. That's the crucial part.
That's where he keeps his brain?
Yeah. No, that's where he keeps his psychic shielding.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. I did enjoy, Imp sort of has the sense that, like, my power has failed me before. And I feel like we also got that beat with Coil a little bit, where he's like, part of his paranoia is like, but like, you know, occasionally my power hasn't worked. Or like, he was sort of like saying,
I thought he was just afraid it wouldn't work.
Maybe, yeah. But these sort of like incredibly powerful people in the back of their head, it's like, you don't
what
really
if it's the
trust.
one time it doesn't work?
Yeah, exactly.
And it does seem like Imps is imperfect. Another word.
I mean, I guess it's like, right, like if you're, you know, a professional circus performer or something, right? You do it a million times where you get thrown through the air and you're caught and it's successful. And you just practice it so much
it's possible
that
for it to not
the risk
work.
is basically zero. But, right, you always know it's possible that it's not going to work.
Brian is going to be so mad when she comes back with this message from Cherish.
But the thing is, just after reading this chapter, I'm like, Brian, you gotta let her go. Like, you gotta let her, you know, like...
Gotta let her imp.
This is the problem with keeping the Undersiders together. Like, maybe with the Unravel... I mean, like, Brian's always gonna assign her to his team. But, like, we really need her...
She needs to strike out on her own.
Yeah.
He needs to loosen up and start seeing her more and worrying about her less.
Yeah, and that's going to be really easy for Brian to do, right?
Definitely. I think he'll achieve it in the next chapter.
Right. Yeah.
We still haven't gotten his interlude. Maybe his interlude is where their relationship grows, and that's what we're saving it for.
Yeah. I like that it's Brian and Skinner, not Brian and Taylor, in Aisha's head. What she thinks about them.
Yeah.
Why would it be Taylor? I also love, like, we've had a lot of discussion and kind of reminiscence against the Nine about the sort of, like, killer instinct thing. And so I do love that she's ready to kill them, right? Because Taylor had that whole thing, like, I don't know if I'm up for it. And Aisha has the same thing.
I appreciated her, like, questioning her caution.
Right,
like,
but in the moment, she's like...
But she does it.
Yeah.
I mean, she tries.
Yeah.
We have so many beats in this story of someone who is ready to slit someone's throat and tries and then can't.
Mm-hmm. Chekhov's slit throat. We'll see.
You know, if someone's throat gets slit in the first act, it's almost definitely still going to be slit at the end of the play.
I guess the last thing I wanted to say about the scene was, like, as awful as Aisha's mom's house is... I do think it adds something to the story to just see these, like, grimy dumbasses kind of, like, very low level involved in the drug trade, the crime scene of Brockton Bay. It's like, it reminds me of, like, Breaking Bad, right? The sort of these, like, hapless crooks, you know?
Yeah, they successfully managed to get a whole ton of drugs.
Right, but
they're like, we can only sell half of it, we'll be set. They're not going to manage to do nearly as well as they think they are. They're going to, like, use most of it.
But, like, it's almost like I could get really into a lot more civilian perspectives of Brockton Bay. And I feel like it would have been great to, like, see more about, like, what it was like in the ABB for, like, somebody who had been strong-armed into it. Or, like, you know...
We need more interludes, is
the
what
perspective,
I'm hearing.
Yeah, the perspective of other people.
We better
like,
go back in time and support his Patreon.
People who are lower down civilians in the PRT or the police force, or, you know, maybe not in the school. I don't know that I want to get a Mr. Gladly interlude, but like fleshing out some of the stuff that's not.
It's going to be Mr. Gladly's tall girlfriend.
Oh yeah. I'd love it if she came back. That'd be awesome.
She's secretly a cape.
And in particular, though, she could be a cape. We don't know.
She was in the shelter.
She could have triggered in that moment.
Taylor would have noticed.
Yeah. We would have gotten another vision. So
she could have triggered since then. Who knows?
Right, like Imp did. I also feel like we have spent so much time with capes and sort of like the capes are like the noble houses in Game of Thrones. And so, like, there are all of these anonymous, like, peasants, you know, in the story who are, like, doing stuff.
Wow, that's actually like, quite analogous.
ABB members getting
houses.
Right, their hands, like, stabbed through and stuff, right? And so, like, it is really important to the story that we get some evidence, right? Taylor's crusade to be a better Coil who, like, removes all drug use from the city, right? Coil was like, yeah, I can't really promise that. Like, that's not how it's going to work. So I'm going to control it. It's going to be safer. But, like, we're not getting rid of all crime. Like, that's not a thing you do in a city, right? Like, we're not doing that. But Taylor's like, no, I will do, like, I can be better, you know? And she's, like, in her gang. She's like...
No drugs, yeah.
No drugs, you can't, like, harass, right? Like, she has these, like, high standards, right? But, like, the reality of how people behave is, like, so much messier than Taylor has been forced to confront yet. And so, like, it is nice to get,
some messy people. Some
messy people in the story. Well, I think that's all I got.
All right. Well, I think what's going to happen next is that Aisha will go back and find the others and tell them that Cherish wants a secret meeting. Or maybe there'll just be a message. I don't know, but I think they're going to have to meet with Cherish because that'll be fun. Brian will be super mad and there'll be some debate about whether they should take it seriously. But of course they will go off and meet Cherish and get information. And I hope we get to see that part on screen because it sounds fun.
Oh.
Although if we see it on screen, probably something will go wrong with it.
Yeah.
But my prediction was that we would start back in Taylor's territory. People would be really injured from Mannequin and that Amy will come back and help. So Amy will probably be there when Imp shows up.
Interesting. New Cherish brain surgery team might be, Strike Force might be happening. Well, I would love to, I'll see all that in the next chapter, which starts... How the hell was that motherfucker
moving so quickly? Or like evading my tripwires?
Yeah.
It's a good question.
What do you think?
He can separate all his body parts and make them fly horizontally through little gaps.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is, it sounds like we might be picking up right where we left off.
Yes, that is what it sounds like. Yeah. Which is, kind of what I predicted. They'll head back to the territory. He'll already have killed a bunch of people, and maybe we'll try to save some of them, and hopefully Amy can help, because she's going to come back and join. And that's my optimistic prediction for her.
Sounds rough, but...
We'll find out.
Next time.
On Inchworm.
Worm is a web serial by J.C. McCrae. You can read Worm at parahumans.wordpress.com and support the author at patreon.com/wildbow. Follow us on Tumblr and Blue Sky at Inchworm Podcast, or find our Discord link and any other updates on inchwormpodcast.com.